back to Tallboy Radio. We're here with episode 85. We're nearly at the century mark. And I believe if Adam has done his maths right, maybe the 100 mark might drop in and around Christmas. So we'll never know. But yeah, looking forward to this. Just before we get into what we're going to be talking about this week, which we never really know now, bearing in mind the new format, introduce the guests, or should I say, guest. And we'll explain more in a moment. So, John, introduce yourself and let us know what you're drinking.
Indeed. Right. I've got a couple of beers this week, actually. I'm taking a leaf out of your book, and I've got 3 different beers to drink on the podcast, all from Beartown. I am, but they're actually relatively low alcohol, and they're small bottles, so it's all good. So they're all from Beartown, and I'm having this one, which is the strongest first. Which is 5.5%. I think it's Washtec, which is
Chesney,
yeah, but possibly. It is certainly named after a Polish bear, so maybe it is.
Okay.
And this is a beer that is flavoured with juniper berry, so it's flavoured with the sort of stuff that you would flavour gin with. I've had it before. I actually bought it to have it on the podcast before, but I liked it that much. I ended up drinking all 3 of them. So I've done pretty well not to drink this one. And then I've got a blueberry, which is obviously blueberry flavoured, and then a peach mel bear as well, which are both around about 4%. So I'll shout them out when I try them. But this one is an absolute beauty. What are you drinking, dude?
Again, it might be for the second week running, actually. I'm drinking that well-known Czech bit. No, I'm joking. That well-known German. Oh, no, Bulgarian it was we're talking about. I see that well-known Bulgarian bit. But no, it's actually Erdinger. So if you can see that there. Again, out of As Per Normal TBR merch podcast glass. So, and there's a couple there just waiting. And at this point, we would normally switch to introduce Andy. However, we were a bit like, I don't know what the phrase is, an animal with losing a limb or whatever. We're without our third wheel, as they say, because Andy is elsewhere tonight. Amy, I don't know whether or not regular listeners to the podcast will know that Amy and Andy are expecting. And the good news is that she's been induced. And we're not, as this drops at, 25 past 8. We don't yet know whether Andy is a dad, but if he is, congratulations. So he's not with us tonight. So just me and Adam. I don't know whether or not you want to sort of add anything to that ad regarding Andy, or
no. I mean, obviously, like you say, we're missing someone. We're missing I was going to say the middle leg of the tripod was going to be my analogy. I don't think he'd appreciate.
Wait till I haven't got a beer in me.
Well, in all fairness, yeah, absolutely. As Gaz said, echo that. All the best. We don't know whether he's had it. I've got my phone sat here, so if any messages come through, to be honest, you'd probably go to Kim first, because Amy and Kim are good old school friends from they go back probably nearly, well, not quite as long as we go back, obviously, because they're
not as old as us.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, so are we going to have a guess at names? Because I don't know names. I don't know what he's going to call him. We know it's going to be a he.
We know. Yes, we do know that they did. I don't know whether we revealed it, or that's the wrong phrase. I don't know if we were told on a podcast, but we do know that it's going to be a he. We might have asked him whether or not they'd done sort of the nursery out, and he's like, "Oh yeah, message through." No. There was a message coming through on our podcast. No. It was Andy, but not that. So yeah, I'm gonna go for. You see, you put me on the spot now. You go first.
You want me to go first?
You go first, because you've had to think about this, and let me have a think.
He sent me a picture through on Instagram on the DMs, and it was all the Jordans that he bought for his little lad. And I said, this dude's Jordan game is really strong. And I thought, he's a big basketball fan.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's a big basketball fan.
Is he going to be Jordan Ryan? That's my guess.
Well, it's interesting because the Ryan that I was just thinking then, and I was thinking James or Jack. So now obviously Jack Ryan is a character from a book, but I don't know whether Andy would know that. So I don't think there would be that connection. And so I was thinking James, Jack. I was trying for the life of me to remember the name of the basketball player. So when we many episodes back, and we were talking about who would you have at your table, and we sort of said, who would be your perfect sort of 4 guests or 3 guests, whatever. And I'm sure there's a basketball player, but I can't for life for me remember.
It wasn't. It wasn't someone who we were expecting either, was it? He is a man of many surprises.
Yeah, because I think we said we possibly talked about LeBron, but I can't imagine being LeBron Ryan.
We should laugh just in case it is.
Sorry, Andy, if you're listening back to this. Sorry, little LeBron.
Yeah.
But we were, because I sort of, obviously Andy's a massive basketball fan, and as I was back in the day, not so much now, but back in the day, and sort of growing up, it was obviously Chicago, so you got Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman, and all them, the decent side. But and I thought that he might have gone LeBron for being, but he said somebody else, and I genuinely do. I can't for life of me remember who.
No, I can't either.
The guy's name, and I was like, oh, would he do that? Is that the glue? But I'm going to go for James, and I'm going to go James Henry Ryan.
Oh wow! So he is very specific with the middle name as well.
It's actually got a message. No, I'm joking. James Henry Ryan.
Oh, cool. Well, we'll find out if I suspect we're probably both going to be wrong, but interesting if one of us was right, wouldn't it?
That would be weird. So I can't help but notice, kid.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a couple of little gifts there. So our friends from across the water, as they say.
Yeah, Mr. Simonetti, he came good, and he paid for his postage, and gee whiz, he got here quite quickly, less than a week, I think. So yeah, 7. I don't know if you can see that if you're watching on YouTube. That is Reload Magnum, which is the one they said was their favourite. And I was saying to you before we started this one, when you pop the top, all the seals are on. I promise you, I have not opened them, I've not touched them, I have not tasted. I won't do until the 3 of us get the opportunity to do so. But this one smells phenomenal. The Magnum, you can smell the garlic in it, and you can get the pepper coming through. Honestly, I can't wait to try it. I was chatting to Todd actually, and I said, "Listen, the rubs are right." Obviously, I thank Johnny for being so kind, and we've posted some stuff off to him. And when that arrives, we'll share what that was. But we
can talk about that obviously, but we won't, and we won't spoil a surprise, because that might be something we can obviously speak to sort of Johnny about. So we won't tell you what it is, but we've sent him some stuff. So
that's it, and I'm sure he'll appreciate what we've sent him as well. So yeah, I was chatting to Todd about getting them back on. Obviously, with Andy's news as well, we don't really know when we're going to be able to organise stuff, when we're going to be available. And obviously, we're in Scotland next week anyway.
Yeah.
So we're going to get something sorted. So I've been chatting to Todd about it, trying to get it back on. So we're going to use the Magnum. We're all going to try it at the same time, taste it, and then hopefully we can give you that visual commentary as we put it into words for you. And he messaged me straight back, actually. And obviously, time difference, I think I messaged him about 11, 12 o'clock in the morning. So it would be quite early there. And he was messaging me about his breakfast. When someone says they had cucumber double action for breakfast, and they send a picture, you dubious about opening.
Maybe not in America, but maybe that's just in the UK in your mind, dude.
I know, but yeah, double action is one of the flavors. And that's another thing he actually.
Just hold it up again. Just hold it up again.
Yeah, Reload double action.
Sweet and smoky. Sweet and smoky. Yeah.
Yeah, he had that on his breakfast. He had a cucumber, just for his breakfast, and he said it's phenomenal. There's a few here, like I say, I'll just hold them up to the camera. Packing Heat, that's the hot one. I'm really quite excited about trying that one.
How hot though? Because there's hot, and then there's like Carolina Reaper hot. So
I was saying to Johnny actually about I really like the sound of that one, and he said his daughter has it on her ramen noodles. Just that straight up noodles, says it's phenomenal. Then there's High Caliber, which is chipotle garlic, and I tell you what, I'm excited about. I know.
Oh, yeah.
That sounds good. That sounds really good. Then there's the Fully Loaded, which is their signature blend. I tell you what, there's a lot of herbs here, dude, and a lot of spices. I'm looking forward to trying it all. Full Metal Jacket, which is a smoky and savoury blend. So
nice.
And then
go on. Oh, sorry, go on. I thought I'd miscounted then.
No. Finally, is the one called Ballistic, and that you can have that on just about anything when you read the side. So it's obviously the sort of flavors you would typically get on a bagel, and yeah, that sounds epic as well.
So how do we think? How do we think this is best going to work? And are we? And this is, I think, a conversation I had with Andy. Are we thinking it's best barbecuing? Are we thinking it's best? Are we putting whether it be a bit of chicken, a bit of sort of steak? Are we thinking shallow frying? Are we thinking sort of grilling? Is that and do we? I don't know. Do we get two bit? Do we season one bit and with one and one bit with another, or how do you envisage this working? Again, I don't know.
Well, Johnny Simo, when he frequently sends me pictures through the food he's cooking, and he'll do it on the barbecue. You know, he does it out on his griller, does it out on his smoker, and the food he sends through, honestly, it looks phenomenal. And again, he did reiterate that as soon as the whitetail season starts over there, he'll be sending us some venison jerky through as well.
That's fair play, and that is so because obviously we're coming into sort of autumn, fall, or whatever it is, if that's the right phrase in America. So nights are going to be drawing in our opportunity maybe for getting out and barbecuing, and it is going to be a little bit more restricted unless we find perhaps the odd random hot day and we can sort of jump out the front of mine or yours and we can barbecue or whatever. But are you thinking then that maybe we do this maybe on a grill and we then eat it effectively live on the podcast with Todd and Johnny? Is that
that's the idea. You know, when he mentioned it, Todd, when we had him on, he mentioned about having the Magnum and, you know, all trying it on the same, you know, doing the steak in exactly the same way. So we'll have a chat with them, see what they have in mind, see how they want it cooked. Obviously, I discussed I won't be eating steak, but that's another matter. I'll run that past him. And then we'll try it all with that same sort of cooked in the same way, whether it be done in a skillet, whether it be done on a grill. I don't know how it's best done. But I tell you what, though, with that Magnum,
probably won't matter.
I'm telling you now, the idea was I had these all lined up, and normally you're sat right next to me because of how we record. We need to do it over Skype, so you're about 40 yards away from us.
Instead of being 2 yards, I'm like 30, 40. You know what I mean?
So the idea was obviously, you know, wind Andy up a little bit, get him a little bit jealous, smell some of this. Let's just smell how good this, you know, the scent of this stuff is, because it is phenomenal. You know, make a few jokes about rubbing meat, that kind of stuff, and get Andy's mouth watering.
Honestly, I mean, it would be great to get Todd and Johnny back on, and you know, we've mentioned a couple of times already. It'd be interesting actually to see whether or not our other American friends, Tiddy and Shiner, have they had some of the Reload rub, and whether, and I know Johnny is fans of theirs and vice versa, and they chat quite a bit. So it'd be interesting to see whether they have tried the Reload rub and what their thoughts are. I don't know.
Tiddy and Shiner, like they've got their favourite rubs as well, and they use one, and I think it is an Oklahoma-based one. You correct me, guys, if I'm wrong. Called Chupacabra, which is that's the one they used, and they made they. Have you ever seen their YouTube? They actually put together some really good videos, and they did a video making tacos, and they made what they told me, and they sent me the videos, some of the clips of what they were doing at the time as the world's best tacos. That video was yet to appear on YouTube because they cooked it, filmed it all being cooked, and then ate it all. Forgot to film it. It said literally, it tasted that good. We forgot to film the finished product and didn't have enough left to do it.
I mean, duh. But so no, I mean, like I say, that episode, looking forward to it. Looking forward to getting them back on. Just as I say, the rub is great, and that's an added bonus. But just to get those guys back on, and because you know, we've said before, we had a bit of a hoot when we sort of when we chatted to them guys. So looking forward to that. And again, in the pipeline, we've said this before, 2022 might be a busy year for us. However, you mentioned it earlier, we've got a bit of a busy weekend this weekend.
We have.
So Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I did notice, big shout out, by the way, Scott, I think it's Scott's birthday today. So if you are listening, Scott, happy birthday. Dave, if you're listening, wish Scott happy birthday. I've sort of sent him a message and stuff. So hopefully we're going to meet up with them guys Friday.
Friday night, we're going to meet up with them in Edinburgh.
Yeah, hopefully have a couple of beers with those guys. And it's the Disability Darts World Cup this weekend.
That's it. So that should be interesting because we've talked a few times about doing an outside broadcast. We've never done one. We never even tried to practice with the equipment that we've got for doing it. I tested it out with my daughter, so I'm not sure how good that's going to be, but it all works. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
And we'll see how that goes because really we've got no plan. We're just going to attack it and see what comes.
Yeah, I've got, I say one or two ideas just about people that you can maybe try and chat to. It'd be great if we could get a couple of the competitors on, a couple of participants, just thoughts, feelings, emotions about being here, because you'll get people coming from wherever, all over the world to participate. So, what's disability darts like in your own country, and what are you doing to sort of grow the sport and all of that. But I'd also love to get Dave and Scott, if they're there, to sort of add a little bit of a soundbite in terms of the work that they've put in terms of, sort of sponsoring or being co-sponsors of the event and this, that, and the other. So a couple of ideas about what we can do. But it'll be great just to sort of go. We've sort of, we when we first spoke to Dave, we said we were sort of fully committed to coming up, seeing them, and we like to think we're pretty true to our word. So we're going up there, looking forward to it. We're going to take a set of arrows. We're going to have a bit of a chuck.
I would say so. Yeah, I would say so.
Again, I still haven't quite decided whether or not it's going to be my first set. It probably will, because, as you said, adding 25 years of having them, I haven't lost them yet, and I've been in some right states with them. So we'll wait and see. But yeah, that's this weekend. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, I've been getting a little bit of practice. I'm not, as I always say, Annie.
He says that. He's posted the odd 180-year-old there. Look at him.
Literally, I hadn't probably chucked a dart in a couple of months, and I thought I'll get them out, and literally bang, 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 and then I thought, actually, these are flying really nice. Then treble 20, treble 20, treble 24. I'll take a picture of this just because. And Gaz would be disappointed if I didn't. And then I thought I'm going to carry on, and then I tend to have sort of a 10-minute practice when the kids are in the bath. Wife's doing bath time, and then there was pandemonium because the hair had been grabbed and pulled, so I had to go and separate a fight in the bath. And that was the end of that dart practice. But I got the arrows out again tonight and had a quick chuck. They're flying really nice again. So by the time we get to Edinburgh and I have a few beers deep, they'll be missing by a mile.
I was going to say, they'll be nowhere near where you want to go.
No, exactly. But I'm counting on it being a pairs game, and you just you.
Well, I don't know whether or not I'd say this. And look, we don't know. Effectively, we're at the. Is it the behest, if that's the right word, of Scott and Dave on the Friday? So don't really know, sort of, I say, not that they've got anything planned as such, but I don't know what type of bars we're going to go to. I don't know whether or not we're going to go to a place that has a dartboard and have a chuck if it's going to be on the Friday, or maybe at some point on the Saturday or the Sunday. So we'll just wait and see what the weekend brings.
Definitely. I'd like to think we get a chuck in Edinburgh. If not, we'll definitely have a few beers. And then while we're in Whitburn, I'd like to think we can grab some of their time. I know they obviously they are sponsoring the event, aren't they? Double Trouble are sponsoring the event, so they're going to be fairly busy. Hopefully, we'll be fairly busy. With what we've got to do while we're there. We're not just up there on our jollies. We won't just be standing around drinking beer. We will be standing around drinking beer, but hopefully
we might be doing one or two other things as well, like. Yeah. Eating food and watching darts being played.
I do. When we know that if Gaz is watching darts, he'll start commentating. He'll start critiquing, but quite quickly when he's had a few beers.
Dave need a few beers. Well, I say that when was it Flights Club when we went down? Was it when we went down to London that time? And I was, I don't know, maybe a couple of pints in, and this stag party arrived. And they were throwing it. They're doing it all wrong. He's got his grip wrong. He's throwing it too hard. And it's just, So, but no, like I say, it's something that has sort of not necessarily crept up on us, but it has sort of built up and has got closer and closer and closer. Yeah. So, it's this weekend. So it'll be good. Hopefully, we'll have a bit of content that we can share with you guys. Possibly. 2 weeks if that works out. I don't know exactly when we'll be dropping it, but we'll wait and see.
My plan is, obviously, we get back on the Sunday night, is to spend then the Monday and potentially the Tuesday editing the video and getting that ready for YouTube for Wednesday night, dropping Thursday morning like we normally do, and then taking the audio off of that and any other audio that we record that will be, because some of it, I really, truthfully, we don't know how it's going to work, whether it's going to be video, whether it's going to be audio, whether it's going to be a combination of the two. And then editing that down so that it can be used. And obviously then I've got a few nights that I can get that done in. And then we just have to see where Andrew is and whether he's, whether his hands are tied and whether he's elbow deep in dirty nappies.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we'll see where we are.
Yeah. We'll just see where we are. So hopefully you guys are looking forward to what we might be able to offer from World Disability Darts. I say, fingers crossed, we'll be able to drop something in the next couple of weeks for that. But sort of watch this space.
Yeah, definitely. I'll tell you what, while we're on the subject of sport, I started looking into, if you listen to, I can't remember his last episode or maybe the episode before, we decided to have a little bit of a gamble on the American football, something me and Gaz had done for years. And Gaz alluded to actually, basically put my kids through college in the bets that he'd lost with the Steelers and the Bears. But actually, you forgot that a couple of years ago, actually, the Bears did have a slightly better season than the Steelers and did the old reset. So the other day, I had about half an hour to myself, and I'm thinking, because obviously Andy's involved, the Detroit Lions suck. Generally, they are a bad team. They've never won a Super Bowl. I don't think they've ever been to the Super Bowl.
No idea.
I don't think they have. I think they're one of the few teams that haven't been there. So I thought, I sat down and I wrote down all our seasons going back to around about 1960. Then I sat down and I wrote all the Chicago Bears seasons.
You're going to tell me how much I owe you now, aren't you?
No, I'm not. No, because I want to work out what the chances I could actually lose this. Because I was feeling pretty confident. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty.
Well,
bullish.
to be fair, over the last, certainly over the last 15 years, I reckon that when I say you, I mean the Steelers, would have had a better record than the Bears 12 out of 15 years.
For the most part, I don't have those figures here. But what I was looking for is when we've added the third leg to the tripod.
Oh, okay.
Was basically, the Steelers don't have to have the best season anymore. They just don't need to have the worst.
Absolutely.
And I was feeling cocky about this. So I thought, I went back to 1960. I'm thinking I'm going to be able to come on here and say, do you know what? There's never been a time where, because you've got the one thing that goes against you is the Bears and the Lions are in the same conference.
Yes, we play twice, each other twice.
You're going to be taking, W's off each other. So I sat down and I worked it out, and I thought, right, let's pull the lines up. Right, let's go along. So the last time, and it has happened, the last time was 2018, that year that the Bears had a better season.
So did the Lions.
So did the Lions. They went 9-7. We were 9-6 and tied 1.
That same year, were they?
Yeah, that same year. And that was like, wow. That I'm do you know what? I'm gonna start saving me vouchers for the Big Macs.
Wow. Jeez. I'm trying to think who.
It's been terrible for like the last.
They had a QB then. I'm trying.
They did. Was it Stafford?
I was going to say, was it Matt Stafford? Was that because was Megatron at the Lions for a while?
Wow. Truthfully, I didn't look into the stats. I felt physically sick. This is about I could actually lose now.
But yeah, so I mean, obviously, NFL fans out there, give us a shout if there's any Lions fans out there. I'm sure there must be one or two of you somewhere. Give us a shout out. I think it might have been a winning season based on Matt Stafford.
Oh, I think so.
Megatron. Who was their defensive guy?
Did they have Sue?
Did they have Ndamukong Suh?
He was very good. I forget where he is now, but he was very good. I'm sure Ndamukong Suh was at the Lions, and he was good, but he missed a lot of games for suspension. His temperament wasn't.
I want to say, not Luke Kuechly. Who was there? I can't think. I'm sure he played safety. Play safety or linebacker maybe. But anyway, if there's any Lions fans out there, but I'm pretty sure it's maybe a Matt Stafford Megatron sort of season. But that surprised me because I thought they'd had
surprised me
like pretty bad sort of losing record for quite a while. To be fair,
I thought so as well. But just a slight change of subject. I've cracked open my second beer, and this is the Beartown Blueberry, and it's a good one. It's flavoured with Canadian low bush blueberries. I'm not sure what the relevance of that is, but it is nice and sweet. It is. I love it.
If they grow low, do they taste different than if they grow high? Asking the wrong thing.
There's a
do
question.
They make decent beer? Well, there you go.
They taste all right. That's all that matters.
But no, and it starts this weekend. So the NFL. So it
does, it does. It's Sunday.
So it's back on Sky Sports. So the Sunday night about 6:00 will be sort of red zone,
except we'll be on a train.
Because we'll be on a train. Yeah. But no, Sunday nights is normally sort of prep for work. If you've got any sort of, I say planning prep to do sort of thing, and then it's red zone really. I unless it's the Bears, I generally don't watch the match that's on. I generally just watch red zone. Obviously you just pick up all the scores and stuff. So and obviously our American listeners will know what red zone is because they're part of it. But basically, for those of you that don't know, it's a program that shows almost in real time the sort of highlights from all of the games that are going on. So is it Scott Hansen?
Could be. Yeah, it could be. That name rings a bell.
Scott Hansen in the studio.
He is an excitable young man, and he's excited for about 9 hours. Yeah, 9 hours if there's 3 games. Fair play to the dude.
Of advert-free football or whatever he says. I can't remember. Sorry, Scott, if you're listening. So
which we know he is. Which we know he listens.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, hit us up. Just drop us a message. We'll come on and talk about. We'll talk rubbish about NFL. Not bothered. So it's commercial free. That's the phrase he uses. Commercial free. So it's basically a highlights package that you can watch, isn't it? So looking forward to getting back into that. But massively sort of changing tact. Back into I say work-life mode as such. Amy obviously started sixth form this week. My daughter, and one of her options is criminology. Well, we all know that.
Is it?
Yeah. So as a bit of a she's doing maths. I better get it right. Maths, biology, and physics. And then she was a bit unsure as to whether to do 3 or 4, and some do 3, some do 4. And we were like, well, what do you want to do? And she's always had a bit of a morbid fascination with sort of serial killers, and any Netflix thing out there she'll watch sort of thing. I think that's why she loved our serial killer episode. And she's doing criminology, and she absolutely loves it. Absolutely loves it. And it sort of took me back to our A-level days of not very good performances. And I was sort of talking to her, just sort of saying, in a way, I hope your grades are better than mine. But I actually hope that you enjoy.
They're unlikely to be worse.
I don't think you can get any worse, can you? Literally, I don't think you can get any worse. But what I did say was, I said, but I hope you enjoy it, like, effectively just as much, because back in sixth form, other than the lessons which were okay, we had a bit of a hoot really in sixth form.
And we actually it wasn't sixth form. When we went to college, we studied parapsychology as well, didn't we? We were asked to do a tertiary study, and they gave us a list. And obviously back then we were, the confidence youth, we were big heads, weren't we? Despite the fact we just failed our A levels. We're like, listen, Bob, none of these subjects interest me. How about you just let us have a room for a year, and me and Gaz, we're going to study parapsychology. Yeah, okay. Oh, what? Seriously? Well, actually, we can.
Yeah. Why not do it?
It's just a pity we didn't. We just asked around for a year.
Tertiary study. God, you remember that?
Yeah, gee whiz. Well, I'm sure it's on the old BTEC somewhere that we had a tertiary studies in parapsychology, because we weren't really asked to produce anything. I think they just wanted us out of the way for like a couple of lessons.
Sure they did. Sorry, you want a room and it's just going to be you two with nobody else? Knock yourself out. Stay in there as long as you want.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. It's over the other end of the building.
Yeah. So, but no, it's just, obviously, I work in education and stuff, so it was just sort of the back to school bit, and it just sort of made me think back to, just end of the summer, start of the year, and I don't want to go to school, and she picked criminology, says she loves it, desperately wants us to do another serial killer episode, so that might be something we talk about at some point.
Definitely. Well, you see, your daughter started sixth form. Mine started primary school this week.
Can't believe that, dude.
That is scary, yeah. So Kim took her in on Monday, and she was proper excited. But I tell you what, she comes home and she is exhausted at the minute, absolutely exhausted. She's going to bed at 6 o'clock. So yeah, when we were arranging to do this, like, it's always a bit touch and go. Oh, the kid's going to be in bed. They've been in bed for about 3 hours by the time we're recording this. Honestly, it's not a problem.
It's weird because I started chatting to Jenny, my wife, and we obviously. I sent a text and said I would send us a photo of Tiddy and stuff in a uniform, and came through and said, "Oh, look at that." And I know she'd done like a couple of days, but me and Jenny were saying that actually this week, come Friday, she's just going to be out on her feet, just because she will have had like the whole week. And you do the odd taster day. She did a couple last week, sort of thing, but to do like effectively the whole week.
Yeah, it's
do you know what I mean? So,
it's a bit. I went and obviously Tuesdays are my day off, so I went and picked her up and I took JJ, pushed JJ up there in his pushchair.
Jeez, dude, was that a bat or something that's flown across your screen? Then what the fudge hell is that?
There is a big fly in here. The second it lands, I'm going to have that son of a gun. But yeah, he's a big old boy. But yeah, I took JJ up there, pushed him up there in the pushchair. And then I picked Matilda up and she was knackered. She's like, Daddy, I don't want to walk home. Will you carry me? So it's like, yes. So literally, I'm carrying Matilda in one arm. And she's nearly 5, but, the size of the clothing she's in is sort of 67. She's got my tall jeans. She is tall. Yeah. So I'm carrying her in one arm, pushing the pushchair in another, and I'm thinking, how stupid am I? I need to switch this around. So I stuck her in the pushchair and carried JJ.
Good work, dude. You see, how long did it take you to figure that out, though?
I was halfway home, so longer than it should have done.
For I say relatively well-educated man, well-educated man. Surely you should clock that. This arm's ache. Hold on a minute, something's wrong here. How does that work?
Crazy. But yeah, it's exciting times. And yeah, so your daughter, so she's studying criminology. That's fairly interesting. That is exciting.
Yeah, and it is, and she picked it just because I think that was her sort of interest A level. The other 3, I think, are the things that she thinks that she might need to do in terms of career, or she might use in terms of career. But and I'm not saying that criminology won't be, but that was one that she toyed with undernard a bit, and then sort of said, "Oh, I really want to do it." And so far, I mean, they've been back up Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, whatever it is, or Wednesday last week. She loves it. Loves it. So yeah, which and that they sort of look at why as opposed to what. So why do people do it? What did they do? The different types of crimes, and they will look at serial killers and stuff. So it is sounds cool, to be fair.
Yeah, it does, to be honest. I wish they'd offered something like that when I was there. I don't know what it leads to. Certainly, didn't you say last time she wants to be a physiotherapist?
Yeah, so physiotherapist, she obviously GCSE results came in and she did really well, and so she wanted to carry on the maths.
I can't remember, but she didn't really well. She did exceptionally well.
Yeah, she got 9. I think she got 9, 3 8s, and 5 7s or 6 7s, and then she got 6. And of course, everybody says, "Oh, what do you get your 6 in?" Sort of thing. But no, she did really well, and we were chuffed, obviously. So she wants to do the maths and carry on the maths, and then obviously the biology and sort of physics. She wants to do, I think, with a view to maybe going on to do physiotherapy at university, and she's already decided she wants to go to Oxford Brookes. She won't get into Oxford because they don't offer that course, and Oxford do. But she's like, I'm going to university in Oxford. I was like, right, okay. You keep saying that, that's fine. It is only, I say only Oxford Brookes, and that's really disparaging. But yeah, so I think she got it pretty mapped out what she wants to do. But you never know, because the criminology, she was like, well, that could lead to, I don't know, police, forensics, all sorts of stuff. So we'll wait, wait and see. We'll wait and see. But yeah, she's proper into a sort of, real true crime and sort of serial killers and that. So anything on Netflix and all that sort of stuff she loves. So, so that's cool. Which it's slightly is a tenuous link, but the date today is, and I know this because I was watching something on Netflix. Obviously, 7th of September. It is coming up to, is it 20 years? 9/11? Is that what it is? 20 years?
20 years, yeah. And it was 2001.
Yeah. So that's, you're thinking, okay, 20 years, and actually, I was just listening to the news before we came on, and they were talking about Taliban and this and that and their government, and it's basically who's who in a rogues gallery of probably the FBI's most wanted sort of thing. So I know we're out this weekend, but I'd like to think that there's nothing that's going to go ahead and stuff, but I can't help but think down the line we might get some sort of repercussions of what's going on currently. And I don't want to go too political, but it's just, this episode probably drops next Monday. So 9/11 will have been and gone. Hopefully, everybody enjoys their weekend and nothing sort of bad happens as such. But I do worry a little bit about repercussions from the Taliban on the West, sort of thing. So
with everything that's happened in Afghanistan, the whole way that whole thing is played out, and it's it looks like a joke to the whole world in terms of the way that Biden's handled that one, hasn't it? Let's be honest, it's been handled exceptionally badly.
Yeah, I think so.
Leaving all that equipment behind is terrifying, because you just fear what those Black Hawk helicopters could be used for in the future. Yeah, they can't fly them now, but do you know what? They learned how to fly jumbo jets or whatever the plane was. I do apologize. I don't think it was the 747. It wasn't.
Yeah.
It was a different type of plane.
Yeah,
but obviously we saw. You can remember 20 years ago, virtually to the day that this will drop. You can remember that happening, and you can remember the visuals of it, and that there are things that you'll take with you to your grave, because it was quite impactful. And I hope we never see a repeat of that, whether it's this weekend or any other weekend, because it was truly horrific.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I absolutely sort of second that, and I hope nothing. I hope nothing does happen. I hope all of our listeners, but in particular our American listeners, hope it goes okay. And if you are going anywhere, and celebrate is a wrong phrase, and I don't quite know what the phrase is, but to remember. So if you go into a memorial, to remember. I hope it goes without incident, and I hope you guys are all safe. So, but there was a couple of documentaries on Netflix, I think, or there might have been one on terrestrial TV Sky. Was it Remembering 9/11 or so? And it's quite a difficult watch. And actually, when you look back, it is quite a difficult watch in places. Just the impact that it's had, obviously, then and then now, sort of thing. But I don't want to go down a really dark sort of podcast and stuff. But they were quite a challenging watch, some of them. But it had to be told, and the story had to be told. So
it does, and you need to tell the story so that we remember, and we do the things to stop these things from happening again, where these things are preventable. I visited New York a couple of times. I went in, I think the first time I went to New York was 2005, and I visited Ground Zero. And I have to say it was quite eerie, because back then they were still building the memorials, which are there now. And New York is a very noisy city, as you would expect, but there it seemed unerringly quiet. There was it had a presence. I felt uncomfortable being there, almost like I've come to have a look. I've had a nose. I've come from another country. I don't really belong here. It's disrespectful to do this, but at the same time, you're in the city and you can't not go and, in a way, pay your respects to what's happened there.
And I haven't been, but I can imagine it being quite a solemn place, a quiet place. And I see, you'd imagine the white noise of a big city. You go to London. We've been to London. We're going to Edinburgh this weekend. It's that hubbub of busyness, whether it's traffic or whether it's people or just machinery or whatever it may be. There's that sort of fervour of noise, whereas I haven't been, so I don't know, but if you put somewhere in the middle of like a city and it isn't, you'd be like, wow, almost like an unearthly sort of silence around it, I suppose. I don't know.
It
is
was
somewhere I'd like to go.
Yeah, I've seen the Freedom Tower as well. That was there the last time I visited, and it's you know what, it is a fantastic building to see. It's a great memorial. Obviously, you've got the memorial there to 9/11, but it is just a great memorial. That new city, there's also sort of building it back up. That huge tower that just says to the world, "You took it away from us, but you know what? We're going to build it back, and we're going to, you know, you aren't going to affect us. You aren't going to hurt us. We are going to mourn the lives. We are going to remember what happened." But you aren't going to affect our mentality, and I think that's what that is. A great statement to the world.
Yeah, and you know, we try not to be too massively sort of political here on this podcast. I mean, if you want that, there's lots of podcasts out there. You know, we're possibly slightly less political than Tin and Shiner maybe at times.
Definitely.
You know, so. But it is something that is, you know, it's this weekend. It's newsworthy. It does affect the people all over the world. But you know, we have very strong ties with America, and you know, so it's newsworthy. I think it's something that you know we should talk about, try and educate. But you know, again, it's one of those. I hope it goes off without incident as such. But yeah, so that was just. You know, that was just from me, really. Just, you know, I hope that everything goes okay. You know what? Hopefully, this drops next Monday, and everything has gone without, you know, a hitch. If you are at sort of remember stuff, so that was just me looking at a couple of my notes, just thinking, you know, I wouldn't mind mentioning it just because I do feel it's a bit. You know, it is a little bit newsworthy and stuff. So, I don't. Is there anything else you want to chat specifically about, Ad, or what? What are your thoughts?
I 100%. It's one of those ones you talk about something like that, and it's very difficult to move on respectfully from, isn't it? But you're quite right. It has to be acknowledged. It does 100% have to be acknowledged. Now, I mean, for me, if we want to lighten the mood a little bit,
absolutely.
Well, we're heading up to Scotland, as Gaz said, and I thought, you know what, I should probably, my phone's due for an update, so I've upgraded my phone, so we've got a little bit of extra storage. The camera's going to be a little bit better, so if we're going to do a little bit of fun, it's going to be great. So I was talking to the guy on the phone, and what we're after, I said, well, basically, we do a podcast. You need to listen to it. Tall Boy Radio. Plugged it for him. He said he was going to, whether he does or not.
He won't.
He won't. Yeah, that's tough. But we try. And I thought, you know, so I've gone for like a streamer's package. So I've got like, I think, you know, a load of gig that I can use. So we can stream from wherever we are. And in future, when we're going to do hopefully more outside broadcasts, then we can. So he says, right, listen, because you're going for this package, you know what, you qualify for one of 4 free gifts. It's the one probably I think you're going to be most interested in is you get 2 years BT Sports free. I was like, oh, yeah. Oh, no, I don't get to watch Arsenal on there because they're not in bloody Europe anymore. Thanks for that, mate. That's brought me down.
Well, it's weird because during lockdown, COVID, and all that, I purchased BT Sports, so I've got it now. But I know that, you know, a couple of people have got logins and maybe sort of given other people logins, and I'm not sure that's still allowed. But yeah, so looking forward to watching all football. Yes, Arsenal won't be in the Champions League
or Europa.
Probably not next year either.
Listen, I just pray we're in the Premiership.
And actually, you know, and I listened back. I don't know whether it was the last one that I did the devil. I think it was the one before. And I mention sort of Aaron Ramsdale, and I was listening, and I did say that he went Chesterfield, Sheffield United, but I think he's at Bournemouth, and I haven't checked that, but I think he was at Bournemouth for a while, so I think he went to Chesterfield, Bournemouth, Sheffield United, Arsenal. Having said that, I do think that Bournemouth got relegated the season that he was with them as well. So that continues. So Aaron, again, I apologise. But yeah, I was listening back and I thought, I'm sure I've missed something. I'm sure he didn't go from there to there, and I do think it was Bournemouth. But yeah, so Aaron, I apologise, and I hope that horrible little stat does not continue. It would be fun to rib Adam, but we need Arsenal in the Premiership. They're too big to go down.
I saw something that, that one of the Arsenal fans that I'm friends with on Facebook had shared something, and it's like, I got a picture of Arteta in his suit with the Arsenal badge on, and saying, "Just call me Arteta, Mikel Arteta, 007, 0 wins, 0 goals scored, and 7 conceded." I thought, should I mention we've actually conceded 9?
I saw that, and I thought, you know what, the people that you go online, and if you are very active in social media and stuff, some of the memes and some of the stuff that you see, they're so clever. You think how they like. It would be pretty cool just to sort of start something, create a meme, start it, and then it go viral, and you're like, I did that. That was me. I created, but that 007, I did see that. I was quite humorous, I must admit. So,
like I say though, I felt obliged to go. We've conceded 9, 2 in the first, 2 in the second, and 5 in the third game. And I expected last week, to get a little bit of a ribbon about that. I was waiting for, what the hell happened to Arsenal to become a regular slot on the podcast.
It's like, I mean, Adrian Durham, if you're listening, Adrian, then fair enough, from TalkSport. He used to do the Daily Arsenal, and that was on the Drive show on the way home. So I used to listen to it on the way home, and it literally was the Daily Arsenal, and he hates Arsenal. So and literally he'd proper find like news stories just about Arsenal that like in chaos, and he'd be having an He doesn't do it now, because I think Andy Goldstein is doing the Drive, and I quite like Andy Goldstein as a presenter. So I think he's doing Drive now. But if they did a Daily Arsenal, oh my days!
Like shooting fish in a barrel at the minute.
And haven't we got the Amazon stuff? What's it called? The All or Nothing, is it? Is that this season?
Nothing, yeah.
When does that start, dude?
I think it's at the end of the season it starts to get shown. I'm not sure. I haven't got an Amazon Prime, so I don't know.
Right.
I'm dreading it.
Yeah. So that isn't great from an Arsenal point of view. It's funny from a neutral point of view and stuff, but I'm just having a look. No, I don't think it is. I'm just going to flick just to see if it mentions it, but I don't think it's. I'm almost certain it's not this season. So we'll have to wait and see.
Changing the subject from Arsenal, I'll tell you what I am watching at the moment, and it's on. Do you have Disney Plus, by the way?
No. That's a weird link, because I'll talk to you about something else on Disney as well in a minute. So.
Well, they added Star to there, so there's a lot of American television on there as well. And there's a show on there called Only Murders in the Building. And the reason why I mentioned it is I started watching it. It is Martin Short, Steve Martin, and Selena Gomez. But the idea, so pretty big cast. And the idea is, obviously, how we talked on here how big podcasting is getting. And this is a TV series about 3 people who there is a murder in their own building, and they set up a podcast called Only Murders in the Building to talk about it. It's like, wow, how mainstream has podcasting become from being sort of, a little hobby that people have done. Like the likes of Todd has done it for the last 10 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before it was podcast, as he said, it was internet radio when he started, and there wasn't that many people doing it. Now there's 2 million podcasts, or you can choose from. Tallboy Radio obviously is the best one, but yeah, this is the one to choose. It's actually a really good show. I would recommend, if you can watch it, to have a look at it, because it was very, very entertaining.
I haven't got it. I've just literally had a quick flick through Amazon, and I can't see it massively being added. There is an All or Nothing. I think there's one from Leeds, like, is it Bring Us Home or Take Us Home or something? But that's from a few years. I think that was that maybe the first year Bielsa was there, maybe? Can't remember. But that was from, because I think, did they do Man City first, and then I think they might have done Leeds, and then did they do Spurs after that? But there's a couple of, to be fair, if you don't like football and you prefer rugby, the All Blacks, All or Nothing, is very, very, very good as well. So if you are into rugby, then that's pretty cool. No, what I was going to say about Disney and is the last series of The Walking Dead is on Disney.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it's like, how does that work?
Well, I'll be honest, I stopped watching The Walking Dead a while ago. It's one of those series.
I did really.
It was great when it first started off. And some of it a little bit too close to home in terms of, they were searching for a cure and heading to see, CDC or whatever.
Yeah.
It's all, when you look back on it, it's a little bit uncomfortable now. It's like, actually, this is the way the world seems like it's going.
I know.
But yeah, I did see that was on there, and actually all the series are now on there because I think it's part of Star, which is obviously Disney
Right.
added there, because what they have on Disney was they had obviously all the Disney stuff, but it is quite limited really. They have done a fair bit of stuff, and we had it because obviously the kids love Frozen
Yeah.
and they love Luca. Honestly, Luca, there was a time during the summer where that film was getting watched 3-4 times a day. Actually, I miss it a little bit. Actually, I got brought into watching it. I love those characters. That's one of my favorite Disney films I've seen. I love it. If you've not seen Luca, give it a go.
I haven't seen it.
If you've got Sky Movies, I think it's coming on there quite soon. It's it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant, very entertaining.
I love that. It just didn't sit with didn't sit with me. But
so is it not on Sky then?
Well, I don't think it is.
Didn't they?
Yeah, but all of the I say literature, all of the hype is all it's on Disney. So, and this got me into a bit of a should, and I know the answer because it can't. But should series not stick to channels, if you know what I mean? So if Fox had Walking Dead series 1, if they commission any other series, should it not just be on that channel? But then you sort of think, but other channels might pay more for that to be made, and therefore they commission it, and so on. So I sort of get that. But if you've been Fox for a number of years, and all of a sudden it's like, well, it's on Disney now. You're like, what? Really?
I've got a little bit of a beef with the way things are going, to be honest with you, because they can milk you for an absolute fortune to watch TV. So you got your Sky package, and back in the day, people used to criticise sport being on Sky.
Yeah,
obviously it's fairly mainstream now. I'm not going to say it's reasonably priced because Sky Sports is not. It's expensive. You're talking best part of 40 quid a month to watch Sky Sports on top of the rest of your subscription package. But then you've got Amazon Prime, you've got Disney Plus, you've got BritBox, you've got Netflix, and you've got a load of different things you can subscribe to. And it needs to end somewhere, because otherwise you're thinking, well, actually, I really enjoyed that. And like you say, Walking Dead, you pay your Sky subscription to watch it on Fox HD or FX HD, whichever one it was on. And then now you're expected to stump up an extra £6-7 to watch it on Disney, when that's probably the only thing you're going to be interested in on there. And absolutely. That's a bit rough.
Yeah, and to be fair, I haven't seen it because I haven't got Disney, but The Mandalorian is meant to be pretty cool, but I haven't seen that. But by all accounts, that was mint. And you know what? I did toy with getting it just for that, because you know me, I'm a bit of a Star Wars geek and that, I love Star Wars. So I sort of thought, oh, do I or do I not? But I think if my kids had been a bit younger, I probably would have done.
Yeah.
But at the moment, so we've got Sky, BT, Netflix, Amazon. Now I haven't got Disney.
You add that up. You have a look at what you're paying, especially if you've got sports, if you've got movies, you've got the Entertainment Plus package. I tell you what, it gets expensive. You know, when you look at what you'll spend on TV, when you think back in the day, you had 3 channels. When I was a kid, you had 3 channels. I can remember Channel 4 and Channel 5 being added.
Well, Channel 4 added. Was it Countdown was the first program, and you were like, it was. Yeah, hell, was it Richard Whiteley?
Carol Vorderman.
I know. No, is it Rachel Riley now?
Rachel Riley, that's enjoyable.
Yeah, but no, like I say, it's. I remember years ago, and it was one of the first things that effectively went box office. And I know they've done it in America and stuff for years with their boxing in particular, and Sky did it, and I can't remember who it was, and I'm not going to say it was as far back as Bruno or Lennox Lewis but I'm sure that there was.
It was.
Was it?
I can remember. We had the Tyson Bruno fight. We paid for that. And earlier in the night, it was Prince Nazim Hamed was fighting, and I forget who he was fighting. We all went to watch it around the cricket club, then it's back to mine afterwards to watch the Tyson fight.
Yeah.
So obviously the cricket club was absolutely rammed that night because Naz was a huge star, brilliantly entertaining. You didn't want to miss his fights. And I don't know if he went onto the box office side of things, but certainly that fight. And I can remember. Right, the Naz fight's about to start. So I think it was tenants extra that he had at the bar. And I went and bought myself 5 pints of tenants extra. Just I ain't getting on. I ain't going for a pee if I need to wet myself. I am not moving. I'm going to watch this boxing. And he won that fight in about 15 seconds. And I'm sat there with 5 pints of flat tenants after that.
Chug it down, you kid.
Exactly.
But I remember thinking, almost the thin end of the wedge or tip of the iceberg, whatever analogy you want to go down. And it was, you know what, they're going to start paying for all of the big fights and they're going to go box office. So you're going to have to, so you pay your subscription and you've now got to pay an extra $14.99 or whatever it was for that event.
Yeah, and we talked about wrestling when Todd was on as well, and this was the thing. Don't get me wrong, it is one of those things that I think it's fair to say I've grown out of. I do know people who we were at school with who still absolutely love it, and there's nothing wrong with that. It is entertaining. But the point where I really started to fall out of love with it was, hang on a second, you've got to pay to watch WrestleMania, you've got to pay to watch SummerSlam, you've got to pay to watch the Royal Rumble. I don't want to pay an extra £15 on top of my Sky subscription.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And that was, and it made you think back then, and even more so now, it's like, well, where does it end? Because at some point, effectively, what you're going to get is you're just going to get a streaming service, and you're just going to effectively pay for what you actually want to watch. So it's like, actually, you know what? You might end up with a couple of sort of bog standard channels, and then you're going to say, well, actually, I'm going to pay 50p for that, or £1 for that, or £2 for that, or do you know what I mean? And eventually, what you'll do is you'll just end up streaming and paying for what you actually want to watch.
Well, my kids love Tom and Jerry. Matilda especially absolutely loves Tom and Jerry. The cartoon, and obviously the film came out. So, obviously it's advertised right, left and centre, all over Nickelodeon, all over the different children's channels. So, I've got to watch Tom. So I looked at it, and it wasn't on Disney Plus, obviously, because it's is it Hanna-Barbera or Warner Brothers? Hanna-Barbera, or I forget which one.
Warner Brothers, is it?
Yeah, but it was on Sky Movies, but obviously you had to pay for it. So I clicked on it. What is it? It wasn't even available to rent. It was only available to buy. I was expected to pay £17 for it. I thought, balls to that. You can wait 3 months until it comes out on there.
Yeah,
and watch it for free.
And that's the thing.
I'll be honest with you, I watched it last weekend, and it was shit. I'm glad I didn't pay for it.
Yeah. I haven't seen it, but
don't bother.
No, I believe it's terrible. But then what you've got is you can buy it, or you can buy and keep it. But if you buy it, does that mean you don't keep it? How does that? And then obviously you've got rent, which gives you, is it 48 hours to watch it, or something? I don't know how it works, but
yeah, I think so. I have bought a few on there, to be honest. I got the digital copies of a few of them, and every Christmas, God bless Sky, do you know what I mean? We probably panned them a little bit, but they always do give you a Christmas film every year. Every year you get to.
They give you Christmas Channel.
Well, hey, listen, dude. If you play it right, you got Christmas in July on a couple of channels. So we've had our fill of Christmas movies already.
I'm not even joking, you dude. Right, Abby, who's my youngest, and she always says, "Oh, you never mentioned me on the podcast." So Abby, I'm mentioning you now on the podcast. Maybe not necessarily for the right reasons.
We're going to slate you.
She says it is September, so I can start singing Christmas songs. It's like, no, you can't. You can't do that.
I've got my Christmas stuff out of work. I've got my Christmas stuff out of work.
Dude, it's the first week in September.
I tell you, man, we're out late August. They're still melting slightly. They've been melting in this bloody heat.
Honestly, she was like, she I can't remember what she was humming. She was humming. She was like, "Is that a Christmas song?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Seriously, Abs? Like, sort yourself out. It's September." It's like, that's not allowed. It's like 1st of December, yeah, maybe, but not the flipping 6th of. Well, it wasn't even yesterday. It's like earlier in the week. It's like, it literally was like 1st or 2nd of September. It's like, nah, not having it. No, give it 3 months, you can have it then. You know what I mean?
Dude. Listen, I'm going to tell you now. My Christmas shopping for the kids is done. And by I mean, obviously Kim's done it all. My participation is absolutely zero. I'll be more surprised. I'll be more surprised than they are when they're opening them up on Christmas morning.
Jenny always used to say that. She's like, I was like, "Oh, you're going to open it?" And she says, "You've got no idea what that is, have you?" I'm like, "Nope." No. Oh wow. Yeah, that. Thanks, Dad. It's all right. It's not a problem. It's always Jenny does it. But the thing is, and she Jenny will go, "Oh, you never do that." It's like, but you absolutely love doing it.
Absolutely. You froze there for a second. So
no, you did as well. I was like, "Oh, what's going on there?" You got your finger up like that. I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" Somebody's piggybacking on both our broadbands, literally just in a van in the street next to us.
Absolutely. No, it's Kim over here and thinking, do you know what I haven't seen yet? Muppets Christmas Carol. I'm going to download it, interfering with the broadband.
We've got it saved. I could show you a photo, and we've got it saved on our Skybox. It's like scroll down. Muppets Christmas Carol. It's a Delta.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I think we have as well. Actually, to be honest with you, you can't not. That's an absolute humdinger.
No, it is. And on that sort of festive note, we've sort of come full circle, because I'm pretty sure we mentioned Christmas like right smack bang in the introduction when I said it's episode 85.
Oh yeah,
today.
you did. Yeah. Tell you what, we plan it out well, don't we?
You know what? It's almost as if it's scripted. It isn't scripted, by the way.
Yeah, but this is the interesting thing, though. Just before we close out on Christmas, we said, didn't we? It was really that episode we did with Todd and Johnny where we talked about not planning stuff out. Well, I listened to the Toddcast last week, and obviously they've taken a tip from us. And they, before they sat down and recorded, old Todd went and got himself a slice of pizza and sat down in the pizza place and enjoyed himself a bottle of Blue Moon as well while he did so. Nice. And planned out and took his notebook and jotted it out. So they've, whereas we're not planning as much as we used to.
They now are.
Yeah, that's it.
Well, that's the evolution of the podcast. And you know what? We want to be a little bit more, I say, fluid, a little bit more natural and less scripted and more conversational, which there's that bat again, by the way, on your bloody screen. So a little bit more sort of, as I say, more easy conversational than scripted. And if they go the other way, then so be it. But
it wasn't, to be fair. I listened to their episode and it was very similar to. I'm not listening. That sounds terrible. Yeah. But no, it sounded like they took a left turn or two. And obviously, if you ever listen to the Toddcast, their podcast is probably a little bit more political than ours. And to be honest, I was amazed when we had them on that they didn't bring up a few of the subjects they regularly talk about. I think the second time we have them on, we probably won't.
I'm not sure we'll escape. No, absolutely. But look, as I say, it's the evolution of the podcast. And we sort of we want to try and create a podcast we enjoy, and we just hope along the way that people enjoy it as well. So I think we are at probably the hour, maybe fractionally over. I'm not sure, but maybe about the hour mark. So normally this is the time that we sort of wrap things up. We haven't heard from Andy, or I haven't heard from Andy. I don't know whether Adam has. Don't know whether Kim has.
I haven't. No, he has messaged to say he hopes to be available later in the week if we want to do an extra one. It's like, nah, dude, we'll do it in a week or two's time.
No, we're good. We're good. Yeah. Really, really hope that it goes well for Amy and Andy. Hopefully, next time you hear us, we've got some good news. So. Not really much more for me to say other than really enjoyed it again. Really enjoyed having a chat with my old mucker. And until the next time, God bless you. See you later.
And I will just add as well, truly blessed is he who keeps a little bit of Christmas in his heart every day.